Does it matter?
Yeah. I think sounds backwards.
I know exactly. I like it that way.
What sounded backwards?
No, if you put your headphones on the wrong ears, everything sounds backwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ass dumb.
See?
Oh, sorry. I knew that.
I know you knew that.
That was a good one, though. You guys.
We're clever like that.
Exactly. That's why we hang out together.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bourbon Boys, the podcast where guys get together to talk about bourbon, about life, lore, libation, everything that comes with being a dad. We aren't bourbon snobs, just a group of guys who like bourbon for what it is and how it tastes. Pretty simple. This is podcast number 61. I'm Dew, your host. I'm here with Bourbon Boys. I got Altoon.
Hey, hey.
Kurtron.
Hey there.
And Kratz back.
I'm back.
Kratz back.
Kratz back.
Kratz back.
Kratz back.
Tonight we have 3 new bourbons to taste in front of us. We have the Boatwright bourbon from Port Chilkoot, I think.
Yeah, they're famous for their burned in Alaska now. So,
they sure are.
Yeah.
That's out of Alaska. We have a Bluestone Manor. That is
New York, Berkshires?
Yeah, it's found in the Berkshires, named after a house in the Berkshires.
Okay.
Founded by a housewife of New York City celeb.
There you go.
And it's partnership with a distillery in upstate New York. And then, Kurton, you brought...
I brought a J.Henry and Sons. So this is a Wisconsin straight bourbon whiskey. Their anniversary blend. So every year they do a blend for the holiday. And a friend of mine has a contact with them, or kind of 6 degrees of separation, but was able to get a bottle this year.
So, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, very nice.
And it's signed by J.Henry himself.
Fancy.
To Kurt, North Carolina.
Fancy.
I know. We'll need to get these guys on the phone, actually.
All right. Let's start off with the Boatwright.
The Boatwright by Chilkoot.
There you go. So this is an interesting one. This is a young bourbon. This is 2 years old. Be curious what you guys think of it. But let me give you a
Color is good for 2 years.
little bit of background on this one. This is out of the Port Chilkoot Distillery in Haines, Alaska. So it's southern Alaska. And it's made in the south of Alaska. It's got a part blend of bourbon that they produce, and they also bring bourbon in from Kentucky and blend them. So can't really get a good mash bill on this one. There is some, estimates of what it is, but it's been pretty hard to nail down. So they take bourbon that's made in and distilled in Alaska, blend it with bourbon coming in from Kentucky, and then barrel it in Alaska, and then 2 years later pull it out.
Huh.
So you get some pretty cold winters.
Yeah, I was going to say that's interesting. That's the inverse of what all we hear from the coastal, where it's like, the humidity, the heat changes. So in Alaska, where that would seems like the barrel would pretty much shut down for
you would think
half the year. Seriously, it's like
it's not doing a whole lot if it's just stuck in the wood.
So they don't have it like in some kind of controlled environment where they're able to create any kind of humidity, heat, or anything like that.
There wasn't a whole lot written up about it. So, but this is something that we were at. Deb and I took a Alaskan cruise, stopped in Anchorage at the end, sitting at a bar called 49th State Brewery, and up on the shelf they had bourbon, and I said, "Is that local bourbon?" She's like, "If local is 14 hours away, yes, this is a local one."
Since my home's a little further than that, yes.
I was like, "Well, it's closer than closer than North Carolina." So I went out to a liquor store and picked one up, packed it, brought it home, busted it open, and tried it, and wanted to share that with you guys.
I actually like it.
You do?
I do, actually.
What do you get?
I don't know. It's got a nice to me. It has a warm finish to it, which is what I like. It lingers for a while with me. Personally,
it does linger.
It does linger.
Yeah.
I can tell.
It's very light in color. Right?
I'm looking at Elton. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't like it.
No, listen, I like the story behind it. I like the effort and all that. Would I buy it or recommend it? Unless I'm sitting in a bar in Alaska, probably not. Yeah. It's again, I don't know what the price point is, but it is a young bourbon. Doesn't mean that in 2 years we'll get a little more.
I agree. I think if they let it sit there a little bit longer, probably.
Yeah. But it's got a nice. I mean,
for a 2-year.
Yeah.
It's sweet. It's sweet.
Very sweet.
I'm getting hints of halibut.
But you like.
But no, it's not bad.
You like sweet, Elton.
I do. I know. I do like it sweet. Yeah. So
Alton likes it sweet.
It's not. It's just. It's young. It's not very complex.
I think for a 2-year, the color. I think the finish. And I think it actually has a pretty good taste. I agree it has a little sweetness to it, but the warmth of it is what I really like.
To me, it's pretty bright. It's not on the sour side, but it's like that green apple, fresh cut grass.
Yep.
There was one review that was pretty funny.
That's a long ways from halibut.
It is. It's on the same corner.
Corner of
the Parmesan.
Yeah.
Parmesan.
But they talked about, there was a review I read, because I was trying to find, like, well, what's a mash bill, and they won't say it's their own recipe, so they won't release it. And then when you mix it with another straight bourbon, that's going to be all messed up anyway. So that part almost doesn't matter. But they said in the review, it's so young that all you taste is like a lot of the oak. You got the fresh oak. It's more of the barrel taste. And they said, there's so much wood in this one, it reminds me of prepubescence finding my dad's shoebox in the back of his closet. And I was like, that's all right. You went out of your way to make sure that we knew this is a very young.
Yeah, but to your point though, there's no like earthy leather.
No,
it's just not there. It is very bright.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, bright's a good word. I like that.
And it's light. Like the color, it does line up with a few of the younger ones that we've had before, where it just hasn't had enough time to go back and forth through the
I like it.
barrel.
It's the halibut.
That bright halibut.
I like it. I've had worse, that's for sure.
Clover.
Oh, yeah.
Clover.
We're not going to name names.
Poor Clover. Poor Clover keeps getting beat
We would
up.
never throw a distiller under the bus, but it is better than Clover.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Old Nick Williams.
That's the one. That's the one.
ONW. Yeah.
That was rough.
Yeah. I hope that one comes around. I hope they figure that one out.
Yeah.
But guessing I'll be on to something else by then.
So they said on the nose, you're going to get oak, sawmill, which I think is back to young, fresh cut wood.
Alton's Garage.
And sugar. Yeah.
I don't get much on the nose at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just get like the high alcohol. Like it's that still close to White Dog.
I bet if you put a good ice cube on this, the flavor would come right
Probably.
out.
Yeah, it might.
Or just get more watered down.
Yeah, either way.
You go one or two ways with that.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
But I do like the effort. Again.
Yeah.
I don't know what else there is to do in Port Chilkoot, but you might as well drink local bourbon.
Yeah. And they have a whole line of, they've got gins, they've got rum, they've got
a whole line of t-shirts.
And t-shirts.
Well, they did do a good job on the pack, because I looked at the website lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a good job with, kind of playing up the labeling and all that.
Yeah.
So. What did you find in, because we've all been doing a bit of traveling. So when you were in Alaska grabbing a lunch or drink at a pub or whatever, was drinking a big activity in that area?
We were surrounded by tourists, and so everyone was drinking a lot.
Probably not as much as the locals, though. I mean, that's kind of a professional sport, I would think.
I bet.
I would think so.
I bet.
What else is there to do up there?
Yeah.
You're from Wisconsin, Kurt. You could weigh in.
Well, that's true. That is very true.
Now we had a lot of good, local beers. Breweries are, are booming up there, and we went into Red Dog Saloon, which was like one of the oldest, going back to the Gold Rush days.
Yeah,
that's one of the oldest saloons in the state. It was pretty cool. Sawdust on the floor.
Yep.
Crotchety old country western guy, not taking any requests, won't play any bullshit that you hear on the radio.
Yeah.
That was like his opening line.
I'm not playing any of that crap.
Not playing any of that crap.
Don't ask.
Exactly. You were there.
I could feel it.
And then you could sign your name on any surface that wasn't human.
Oh, I thought you meant like
waitress got a little annoyed.
Yeah.
But it was fun. We had that's where we had that duck fart shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which was 3 different liquors floating on each other. That was
interesting.
That was good. Yeah, well, interesting was
any fun wildlife stories or?
We saw in the wild. We saw humpback whale.
There you go.
Whales. We saw otters, seals. We saw moose.
Okay, good.
In captivity in a conservation recovery rehab center, we saw black bear, brown bear, caribou.
Good.
Yeah. And the wood bison. They're bringing them back.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, repopulating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really, and eagles everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just, they were almost the equivalent of pigeons.
Not eagle rare.
Not eagle rare.
It's like a bourbon pond.
No, I couldn't. And I couldn't find, everywhere we went.
Buffalo trace.
Buffaloes. Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
There's not a trace of buffaloes anywhere.
No, none at all.
Yep. Bear with me on this one, but
we better get on to a different
It's a whale of a time.
But it was a good time. If it's on the list, move it up the list. Do it while you can still get out and hike and and see it's beautiful.
I just got a whiff of yeast off this thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Let it sit out too long?
No, I mean, like
it breathes.
No,
the
big vat with the bubbly.
Yeah.
It's there. I mean, you can.
I think you're right.
I think it's good.
So.
Yep.
I think it's good.
I think Kurt's made it very clear he likes this one.
Kurt's sticking to a story.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind mixing this with someone. Something I don't.
With someone.
Kurt's open.
Open up, Kurt. Just coming in.
I love it.
I'm not that kind of podcast.
I like the booziness of it.
Yeah.
As a mixer, but I'm missing some of the sweeter caramel.
Is there proof?
I agree. I mean, listen, it's not one I would.
90 proof.
It's not one I would pull out regularly to drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a piece of ice, but it is. I think as a mixer, but I wouldn't mind sipping it occasionally. I think it's good.
Yeah. Well, you can take them home.
All right. There you go. All right. Should we take a break?
We can take a break.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on to Bluestone because that's still in the 90 proof space.
Right. Did you bring that one too?
I got that one right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's a pretty bottle.
That is the last bottle
decanter,
of its.
You know what? When I die, you can put me in that bottle.
Okay.
It's pretty morbid. But
you can just sprinkle it on your back porch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be in the flowers, but. Yeah. Apparently, my parents picked that one up for me from the Berkshires. They're out there periodically.
Where are the Berkshires?
Berkshires in western Massachusetts.
Okay.
Berkshire Mountains. Mm-hmm. It's where a lot of artists, musicians, theater happens. Super crunchy, artsy space. A lot of outdoor hiking. Beautiful space. And Tanglewood, which is where the Boston Symphony plays in the summer, is out there. So John Williams is doing his last tour this summer, hanging out there. But like James Taylor will play out there.
You're not confusing that with Tanglewood of Winston-Salem fame, right?
No,
there's a park up there called Tanglewood.
Yeah.
I think it probably pales in comparison.
They do the Christmas lights in Tanglewood.
They do the Christmas lights. That's what made me think of it. We did that with the kids when you drove through.
Yeah.
No, this is it's an outdoor music pavilion.
Oh, very cool.
So they have music sessions and music camps, through the summer and the.
Did you say Northwest New York or just Western?
Just Western. Okay. Yeah. Very kind of on the New York border.
Yeah.
And beautiful, cool evenings, hot days.
I'd like to get out there. I've never been that part of the country.
Yeah.
Heard it's pretty cool though.
Very pretty. So they found an article about this in Tanglewood magazine, and they were on the hunt to try to find it. Found the last bottle in the liquor store out there, and they said it's the last bottle because COVID, the bottle manufacturer went under.
Oh, wow.
So they're no longer making that shape bottle.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which you think?
Well, you need to keep the bottle.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's got a key on it. Like
that's clever.
It's the key to the Manor.
Our blade and bow.
Does that key get you in Blackstone Manor, actually?
Yeah, it just might.
Only if you collect enough of them.
What's the significance of the key? Do you know?
So the backstory on this is Bluestone Manor is it's actually a brand that's named after the house in the Berkshires that one of the stars of, or one of the women on Real Housewives of New York City, Dorinda Medley, she came into a lot of money, bought a place up there. She's like, this house is built in the 1902, so it's got a lot of history. 11,000 square feet. Ultra.
So it's kind of like a cabin,
maximist. Yeah. It's just a little cottage
in that part of the world.
Yeah.
In that part of the world, yeah.
So the house is called Bluestone Manor. So she's been working with a distiller in upstate New York called New York Spirits Lab, and they do some collaboration. So this is a small batch, small run bourbon handcrafted by Newburgh Distillery. Proof is 90. Mash bill is 70 corn, 25 wheat, and 5 malted barley. So wheat's going to make it a little bit smoother, a little bit sweeter. This is a minimum of 5-year age on this one, so we're going to step it up a few years. But because of the wheat, it should be pretty smooth, pretty soft, approachable. And they say on the nose, you're going to get vanilla and cinnamon with a hint of dried fruit.
You can definitely get the vanilla.
Yep, vanilla's very pronounced.
Yep.
And then palate, toasted dark cherry and spicy oakiness. Color is great, though. Like, it is a dark caramel.
Yeah, this is good. I like this. This is good. This has got more like depth of flavor than what we just had.
I get a lot of butterscotch caramel.
Yep.
Really sweet.
The dark cherry is definitely
I can definitely taste that as well.
Yeah, the dark cherries are very... But the warmth from the previous one stayed with you longer.
I
mean, this is I think a better taste and more complex and a little more flavor in it.
Yep.
But the warmth of the what do you call it? The Boatwright actually stayed with you longer.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what proof that one was, do we?
No.
90. This is 90.
Oh, yeah.
So they're both
These are 290s.
Both 90s.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
This one definitely just smoothed out a lot with the extra time in the barrel, probably.
Right.
And the wheat certainly doesn't hurt that. So.
Yep.
And the fact that it actually has seasons that are a little bit more pronounced than maybe Alaska is going to get.
Maybe.
This is good.
It's got a little bit more time
I
on
like
the
this
wood.
a lot. It's
I
good.
do too.
And it's a cool look. Like you said, Kurt, it's got this, really elegant looking bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Boatwright looks like a typical bourbon bottle that we've seen before.
Yep.
Kind of oval on the top.
Yep.
Round bottle. This one has a little bit more geometry to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Looks like it's a decanter.
I was going to say, it looks like a decanter.
It really does.
It's got the glass.
Yeah.
Decanter stopper.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and just the label, the design, everything.
Yeah.
Got a peacock on it. I mean, everything looks better with a peacock on it, right? Really is pretty.
I've been told.
That's good. Yeah. So I've heard.
Are his feathers up or down?
I don't know. They look like they're down. So yeah, that's really good. I like that.
That's very good.
Do any? You said it was a gift from your parents. Any clue what they paid for it?
They when I looked online, they said it's between $45 and $55.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a great deal.
That's a great deal.
5 year.
Well,
yeah.
There's that, but I mean, the presentation of the bottle itself would make you think it's more than that, right?
Yeah.
But it's really good bourbon.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's a good taste.
I like it.
And it's the first time we've had it, so that's been kept under wraps since they gave it to me. So it's been waiting.
Yeah,
wow, that's good. I like that.
Very good.
Yep.
Do you think if we named our houses, they would be worth more?
It's worth a shot. Don't tell the town.
What would be the name of your house?
I don't know.
What would be the name of your house?
Disaster.
Yeah, we call our place the Ranch. And I don't think that adds any value to it at all.
Well, I think you should call it the Krat Shack.
The what shack?
The Krat Shack.
The Krat Shack. There you go. Yeah, we always talked about you go to the beach and those places have got names. Mm-hmm. Yo Beach Ass.
Oh,
that's what our place is.
That's what your place would be?
One day, yeah.
That's worth buying a beach house just to name it that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or bring your own sign, and when you rent one, just
hang it up front. That's right. That's funny.
I don't have a name that could have a good name for a house.
The Jansen Mansion?
Okay, that works.
Who's that neighbor of yours?
Jansen?
That, you got to come up with a name that would piss off that neighbor.
Like Toon Platoon, or Crat Shack, I think.
Toon Platoon.
I don't know. Not Platoon. Toon Saloon. There we go.
Oh, there you go. That's Toon Saloon.
There we go.
That fits. I'm not sure else my value, but it's very accurate.
Yeah. That's fun.
What about my neighbor?
Speaking of saloons, where did
I was just trying to think of
the,
what name for your house you could come up with that would piss off your neighbor that doesn't like you.
Oh, she loves me now.
Oh, she does now.
Yeah,
Good
we made amends.
Okay. That's great.
Yep.
Let's go back to saloon.
Yes.
So, Scotland, Ireland.
Yes.
Tell us about the bar scene and the breweries and distilleries, and what'd you guys see?
It was a blast. So highly recommended. We started out in Ireland. We were at the Guinness factory within 5 hours of landing in Ireland. So it was like, okay, this is the way it should be. Great experience there. They had a really friendly tour of the brewery there, and obviously they get a lot of traffic there. And Guinness rules the day across everything we saw in Ireland.
That's awesome. Everywhere.
So yeah, we did. And we did learn one thing, that at 10 o'clock every day is when the taste testers do their job at Guinness. So they stop and taste the production line. So I'm like,
wow.
Hell, I think we should all recognize that as good international friends.
Every day at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
Raise a glass
taste
of bourbon.
something.
Taste something.
Some of us are still working, but you know.
They're working too.
They were too.
Yeah. No excuses.
Oh, I know.
Thank you, Dave.
Culturally, it's much more appropriate.
Thank you, Dave.
And accepted over there.
I think ask forgiveness, not permission.
There you
What's
go.
the worst that could happen?
Exactly. But it was a great time. A lot of pub action, as you can imagine. Not a lot of raucous Irish pubs, but while we were there, the local music was definitely a part of the scene.
That's cool.
So that was kind of fun to see some of that.
Did you get up and dance a little bit?
I didn't know. The places were like really small.
You'd be amazed the jig that this guy can do.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
I was only when chased.
Did you and Kurt at any point have like travel drama together? Like you wanted to go somewhere, but Kurt didn't, or did the ladies jump in?
We had a prenup agreement.
Oh, good.
If he wanted to go somewhere that I didn't, he could go. If I wanted to go somewhere he didn't, it worked.
That sounds like
great.
a very equitable.
It was very.
That's good.
It was very mutual understanding.
That's good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Well, the pictures were fantastic.
Yeah,
It looked like you guys had a really good trip.
We did.
Super
we had
cool.
an amazing time.
We did have a great time.
Saw some hikes. You guys got out there and
we did
some nature stuff.
Yeah.
Old Man of Store.
Old Man of Store.
Well, that was Scotland, but the music part was really cool, and I think you particularly because you play guitar, or I don't know, you probably play 12 instruments, but the one place we went to, we were staying in Dingle, which is on the Dingle Peninsula in Ireland, and it was this tiny little pub, and we just walked in, and there was there were already some people playing, but there were little signs on the table say reserved for musicians.
That's awesome.
But it wasn't a band. I mean, it was just casually, like all of a sudden some guy walks in with his wooden flute. Like he had this massive wooden flute. It was super cool. And he just sits down and like puts it together and just jumps in and starts playing. So now there's a flute and there's a guitar and there's a little accordion and there's little bagpipe things and there's drums and
it's a big jam session.
It's just like a big jam session. It was so cool.
Did you jump in on keys or accordion?
Should have gotten in there, Kurt.
I didn't bring my keyboard with me.
Yeah. A buddy of mine at work, she was over there probably a month ago and picked up on the same thing. They went into a pub, and there was a guy that pulled up next to him and said, "Hey, do you mind if I sit with y'all? My son is like a musician, and this is the first time he's come to the pub to just join in."
Mm-hmm.
And so it sounds like it's very much a traditional thing. And
it's multi-generational.
And a place to go and learn. And
it was so cool.
Yeah, there was guys there, in their 30s, and their young teenage kid was sitting beside him playing a different instrument or whatever. So it was very, very much a multi-generational, transitional, kind of coming of age thing.
Yeah, it was cool.
So
they let you guys jump in and sit in on like tambourine or something?
Nothing.
No.
They didn't make eye contact with me.
Like, you didn't bring a case? You're
nothing.
They were like, keep the stupid Americans away.
Al brought us cowbell. He was ready to jump.
I was ready. Hey, right. I will contribute in some way.
But what was cool about Dingle is that I felt as though most of the people that were there were local from Dingle.
Yeah.
we just happened to fall upon this place in kind of a back road off the main strip. And so that was really cool because you could definitely feel that everybody there was pretty much, if not local, they were from Ireland, which was cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did the same thing happen in Scotland? Or was that just an Irish cultural thing?
No, I mean, we saw the music play out again in Scotland, and actually that was in Edinburgh when we were there. So in the city, same thing happened. Backstreet pub, was it the Thistle or was the restaurant?
It was on Thistle Street. We had eaten at a restaurant. We met these guys later. They were off doing their own thing. And then, Liz and I found this little bar just like 2 doors down from this amazing restaurant that we went to. And we went in there, and again, it was super small. There was probably 25 people in there. And there was a little sign that said reserved for musicians. And at 8:30, this woman and guy came in and casually just sat with a drink. She had a violin. He played guitar, and she sang.
That's
and
so cool.
it was
awesome.
It was just cool. And some guy literally like sat at the table with him drinking his beer, and he's just kind of like,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it was cool.
So McClellan,
Yep.
Irish or Scottish?
Scottish.
Okay.
The Clan McClellan.
The Clan McClellan.
Which is a descendant of the Clan MacLean. There's a Castle MacLean, which we did not go to because it was way south.
Okay.
But we did explore that. We found a shop in, was that it? Was it Edinburgh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Down from the castle.
Yeah, down from the castle, down on the Royal Mile. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We were there. We were kind of worried about the heat for the wedding next week.
Oh dear God!
Yeah, so what?
It's gonna be hot as shit.
What we were thinking is what could be cooler than a kilt?
Hell yeah, wear a kilt.
So we were looking.
You should do it, man. That's
so we actually were shopping, and so anyway, we found this place, and they had a lot of the tartans and all that. So I found for the first time I found what the tartan print for the McClellan.
That's
clan
cool.
Nice.
They spell it with an MAC, but it's like okay, it's close enough.
Yeah.
So we got that, but while we were there, the lady that was working was incredible, and Kurt said, "Hey, what would it take to try on a kilt?" And she said, "Say no more."
She started stripping down right there. Yeah. You're like, no, me.
She almost started stripping us down right there.
She was ready to help us if my belt would have got stuck. So we did actually find us a couple kilts, tried them on. They didn't fit with our dress attire. They were a little too casual.
Yeah,
there is a photo floating around, but I don't even know if I have it.
That did not hit the interwebs.
Yeah.
Well, Liz and Natalie were sworn to.
Oh, come on, dude! I think, if
we will break them.
I would wear a kilt. I'd wear a kilt in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I'd have to be a Macintosh.
We didn't want to take attention away from your daughter, so we opted out.
It's all right. We had a dude wear a kilt at our wedding. So Scottish guy.
I like it. So did you get anything in your family tartan, like a flannel shirt?
No.
Handkerchief.
So of the 8,000 they had on the wall and the scarves, the wool scarves.
Yeah.
I guess which one they couldn't find.
Yours.
All right. So I've got a. It was like a magnet thing that has it on it, so I can at least reference it and go back and find it. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So,
nice.
but no, I was going to buy.
I figured you'd have like a scally cap in your.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish.
That would be cool.
We did score some of those.
We did score some of those.
You did.
Very good.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
When are we going to see those? Cooler weather.
In the
mine
fall.
Mine was winter. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I bought a winter and a summer one. But summer there is different than summer here.
Yeah.
So
My bad.
But it was a blast. So we did the driving thing. So in Ireland, we drove 600 miles
650, I think.
On the wrong side of the road.
on the wrong side of the road in a manual transmission.
Oh, you went for
on the wrong side of the road.
high degree of difficulty.
Oh yeah, we did.
Nice
It was a blast. The
was
motto in the car was "Turn right, stay left."
That's right.
Turn left, stay left. It was just stay
The
left.
navigator was always like, turn right, stay left. Turn left, stay left. Stay left.
Stay left.
Stay left.
As long as you can.
But man, they love
That's
them.
great.
They love them some roundabouts.
Oh yeah.
Love
Cuts
some
down on
roundabouts.
traffic lights, right?
Hey, it does.
Yeah.
You just got to hope you're in the right
You
lane.
just don't want to go the wrong direction on the roundabout.
Did you guys run up
Left
on?
lane.
Did you run up on any sheep in a hurry?
As a matter of fact, we did.
Yeah.
So one of the things Liz wanted to do, she wanted to hold a baby sheep, a lamb. So that was in Ireland. We were coming up the south coast. Were we at Killarney or we were on our way to Killarney? I think we were on our way to Killarney.
Yeah, on our way.
We're coming up in a beautiful drive, like your cliffside. It's absolutely gorgeous. All of a sudden, there's this sign, hold a lamb. And Liz's like, oh my God, there's lambs. So, yeah, exactly.
Some personalized messaging right there.
So we pulled over and they got to hold a lamb. But it was pretty cool because that's where they had the beehive structures. And so, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, we didn't run up on any wildlife in the road.
No.
But in Ireland, the roads were incredibly narrow, and they don't believe in shoulders at all. So you're literally clipping bushes as you're trying to pass a car on the window. So that was kind of our joke because you couldn't stay on the road. So
Toon, you got experience driving up on livestock.
I do have. I was ready.
We did think about that. Yeah.
So it was great.
I would not want to be driving on those roads at night, though.
Oh God, no.
So, especially the further west we got. We did get on one road. We went about probably 3/4 of a mile, and we're like, okay, we're going to turn around and take the long way because there wasn't even a shoulder, and there was room for one car. Dang. And some local came at us and he was not going to stop, and I think. Was I driving?
You were driving.
And I literally just went down into the field because I'm like, and he goes by like this. He's like, and he just looks at us like it's our problem. I'm like, what, dude, what the hell? So Elton's like, I think we'll turn around. We're just gonna take a different way. So, but yeah, it was great. Yeah. I think we put between the two countries, we put 1,100 miles on the cars.
That's serious mileage.
Yeah, we saw a lot.
We got good at it.
We saw a lot.
6 speeds.
But relative back to the saloon, the surprise was Guinness dominated Ireland. There were a few other beer options, very few. No local craft.
Harp and Guinness.
Pretty much that was it, yep. Yeah. And then when we got to Scotland, there was a Tennant, a T-N-E-T, that they threw in addition to the Guinness. It was like a light lager or whatever, but no local distilleries to speak, or breweries to speak of, but local distilleries, I mean, you could get Irish whiskey, Scotch whiskey from any corner that you wanted, pretty much.
Did you try any of that?
We did. We were trying to learn, so I can't remember all the types, but they really focus, even though it's a small island like in Scotland, they really focus on the region it's from. That really drives the peatiness and the woodiness and the earthiness taste. And we had this barkeep at what was it? Ultabeast in Pitlochry.
In Pitlochry.
Yeah, and she did a great job explaining. But there's like a Speyside region, there's an island coast, there's a lowland, and then there's a highland. And all those different whiskeys have very distinct taste.
Flavor profiles?
Flavor profiles.
Yeah, that's cool. They do.
So they would ask you, like, when you're like, I want a whiskey, they'd be like,
what region do you want it from?
We're
like, Scotland.
What was the next question?
Exactly.
I'll come back to that. Leave that one blank. What's the next question?
This region.
But I think what we learned, and I can honestly say for me personally, like I didn't find one that I really liked.
Right.
They were super earthy. Really dirt. Like
peaty.
They were super peaty, and that I feel like you need to drink a lot of it to acquire that taste.
There was two key flavors. There was a peatiness and there was a smokiness.
Yeah,
and the smoky was literally like your face. You know, it was like when you're by a campfire all night and you just taste it in your sinuses and all. It was literally that smoky.
It tasted like somebody rolled a cigar in your mouth.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Did anybody there recognize you guys?
Not a one.
No. Did you tell them, like, hey?
I mean, we are international.
Yeah. Multi-national.
So on the bourbon front, we did, of course.
Easy enough.
We did, of course, hit a couple of liquor stores to see what they had there, whatever. Buffalo Trace.
There you go.
So you can get it there, but you can't get it in fucking North Carolina.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Yes, but every time
expensive bottle.
But every time. Okay, so this is not a joke.
Much better trip though.
Every time I asked for Buffalo Trace, I got Bullet.
Oh.
Starts with a B.
And I would every time they pull it, I would tell them like, no, I asked for Buffalo Trace, and they look at the bottle and they're like,
oh, that's the same thing.
And they go,
oh, you're ready to get what you want.
Standing outside of the road.
The first time it happened, I was like, whatever. They just didn't hear me or whatever. So then the second time that's when we were listening to the music that night, and I'm like, they pulled Bullet. I'm like, No, I want the one next to it.
And teach us.
With the
so you drove flew all the way to Scotland to have Bullet.
I did get my Buffalo Trace, but we did found one liquor store that had a ton of bourbon in Pitlochry. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was one Irish whiskey that we liked. It was in that black bottle. It started with an O.
I got a picture of black. Octomore
or something like that. Yeah,
that was the one
which we did like.
Yeah, and she said it was like an $80 bottle. We couldn't find it at the store, but she said like an $80 bottle. It was very good.
It was good. That one was good. Yeah. So,
have you seen the documentary Scotch?
Mm-hmm. I have not.
You've seen it, right?
Beautifully done.
Oh wow, no,
similar to like on the level of neat.
Yeah. Yep.
Just about Scotch.
Oh, wow. No, I have to see that.
And this one master distiller who has started and restarted multiple like award-winning distilleries.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Dropped out of school at a young age to basically sweep the floor that they were smoking with peat. They were smoking the barley.
Yeah. There's your smoke.
And they're like, well, this is better than school.
Yeah.
And he stayed there.
Yeah.
And the whole documentary. Check it out. I forget what platform it's on.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah. Okay. Really, really good.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Definitely recommended though. It was beautiful country.
That's great.
Both.
That's great.
And we had amazing weather. Like we were packed. Well, I was packed because I went a week prior for work.
Yep.
And I was packed for 55 and rainy, and it was 75 sunny blue sky every damn day.
That's awesome.
Nice.
We didn't have a drop of rain.
How was the food?
It was good.
It was good. I mean, if you're a foodie, you would have been underwhelmed, but it was good. There was nothing exotic or crazy. I mean, we did have fish and chips, of course. Yeah, very good.
Haggis.
Fish and chips.
And then we did try haggis.
Oh, you did?
Ooh. Yeah.
And
I liked it.
It was good. The texture was a little weird. It's just like liver mush. Honestly, it's like
okay,
but it tasted pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Heavily seasoned or
yeah.
Yeah. That was we went to this really cool hotel bar in Pitlochry, which is a small town we stopped in for 2 nights. And the guy him and his wife who owned it, he told us, he's like, you need to go up. You had to literally like walk up to the top of the village, like it's outside of the center of the village. How old was that place?
350 years old.
350 years old. Yeah. And it was a hotel bar when it opened, and today it's still a hotel bar. So we went. It's so cool. Like the bar in there was amazing, and we sat outside.
Wild.
That's where we had the haggis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those old places like that, like you walk into them and there's like granite steps, but they're worn.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, you don't see that where we live.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we don't keep anything around that long. First off, but we're not that old. But
I always try to imagine like who's been in here.
Oh yeah,
yeah, everybody. And now you.
Yeah. So they can officially shut down.
Pretty cool.
So.
Yeah. They're good.
I've been there. Check.
Kurt's you're right. Here.
Like
poets and politicians and world leaders and
Yeah, I will tell you though, the one thing that as a key takeaway was, again, we had a great trip. It was balls to the wall, but we saw a lot and checked off a lot. If you can get to a place where you could stay in a B&B for a couple of nights, both of we had Helen and Dingle. Did a great job of, again, a small town, but just great to talk to and get to know her a little bit, and then you give some insight. And then again in Pitlochry, we stayed at Tynakloik, which means House of Stone.
Yep.
And they were, he was telling us. So the way that one worked is when we got back from dinner, if you wanted a drink, you rang a bell, and the husband came. I can't remember his name. It was like Scott or something.
Yeah, it was
but he came, telling us, a super nice guy, and he came in with a ripped T-shirt. He'd been doing yard work or whatever, and
you rang the bell.
That's right, exactly.
Gave us a pour, then he left, and we rang the bell again.
That's awesome.
And that's when he came back, and he was telling us the local. He's like, "Yeah, everybody says go down to this restaurant here on the kind of the main drag." Or he said, "What you really need to do is go over to." I think it's called Moulin or whatever. He's like, it's like a 350-year-old pub that so many people miss.
It was
cool.
That's cool.
So I definitely, again, the hotels have a role, and we stayed on many nights. But if you can get somewhere, invest 2 nights with a B&B. Hopefully you get a good host. Spend some time talking to them. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. Yep, it was good. And we saw Elise, and then we came home.
Wonderful. Whew. All right, we're going to try this.
That was exhausting.
This hot Wisconsin bourbon.
I think we should actually. So if you can you open that up for me, please, and then.
Is it Wisconsin or Iowa? I thought you were texted.
No, this one is the Iowa. We're going to save that for another time because I want to.
Got a lot of corn.
I want to get that.
I'll try that.
I want to get the young man on the phone who actually sent that to us because I thought that was pretty good of him. All right,
avoiding us.
So this is J.Henry and Sons. This is a cask strength, 120 proof, 2022 limited edition. So every year. They put out a limited edition during the holiday. And somebody I know in Wisconsin knows somebody who knows these people, which is how I got this. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but it's a 4-generation farm. The farm was first started as a corn farm. So you can imagine in Wisconsin, there's a ton of corn farms. So it didn't start as making corn or growing corn for purposes of creating bourbon. It was essentially a corn farm. And like many farmers, particularly in the 80s, they went through a lot of challenges. Like they started struggling with the farm. And so over the years, they turned to using the corn to then start creating bourbon. The interesting thing here is that, like I was saying, it really started with growing corn, wheat and rye on their farm. But then they decided to produce bourbon, and they specifically selected what they're calling an heirloom red corn that was actually developed at the University of Wisconsin in 1939. They chose these grains because Joe's dad, Jerry, who grew them for 30 years, the red corn, in the 40s and the 60s. So they had to repropagate these heirloom grains, and then they are the only people now in the world that are actually using the red corn in a mash bill. So that's a little bit of a unique characteristic of this particular bourbon. So
I don't know what red corn tastes like.
Yeah,
but I think it tastes like this. Like it's like.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I mean it's like if I had to imagine what red corn tastes like, that's
We tried a bourbon before. Remember they found like the last Jimmy Highwire.
Jimmy Crack corn.
Like, why I'm thinking this like there was one last year corn.
That was it. Apparently, that's not the only red corn.
Yeah.
They found a fossil of a piece of popcorn.
Well, so maybe it's not the only, but anyway, they're claiming that.
But I would imagine it's a whole different.
I was going to say a different
region.
Different region.
So they've actually been raising seed corn since 1946 for 3 generations, and the heirloom red corn, wheat, and rye is used in their premium bourbon since 2008. So, no, I thought it was pretty cool. They actually sent me a card with their picture on it, and they signed the bottle. And so, I don't know. It might be kind of cool to get a hold of these guys and have a conversation with them because it sounds like there's a really, really cool story.
I like
story behind it.
Yeah, I like the history behind it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool to hear about the way they kind of found their way into this. Like you said, it was a farm before growing food for either humans or animals, and now they kind of times got tight and they found a way to do this. So.
Yeah.
Do you know how old this is?
I don't, but I could probably tell you in just a moment.
For me,
it's got a great color.
It is a great color, and I think again it's probably that red corn.
I was because it has a hint to it, right?
All the flavors on the front end for me though, it's like afterward it goes away pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it's got interesting flavor.
I got a lot of spice up front.
Yeah.
And a lot of heat.
A lot of heat.
Just like
a lot of
heat.
Mm-hmm.
Dark cherry again.
So now you say up front, but is it in the? And I know you're talking about like as you first take it in versus But in my mouth, all the flavor and the heat is in the back of my mouth.
It's the back of my tongue.
Throat, back of my tongue. But it is very front loaded on flavor.
But does it stay there for very
long? No. That's what I was saying.
It finishes quick.
Yeah, but it is a really good flavor.
It's good.
I wish it lingered a little longer.
Yeah, same.
What do you get for like a?
I don't know.
I can't put my finger on it.
So while
the Parmesan drink.
Still could be.
No Parmesan. But so while you guys are thinking about that, it's a 4-grain mash bill.
Oh.
65% heirloom, the red heirloom corn, which probably hints to the color.
Yep.
14% heirloom glacier winter wheat.
Oh.
14% heirloom Spooner rye, and 7% malted barley.
The rye is the kick on the front.
Yep.
Yeah.
And while most bourbons utilize the sweetness of wheat or the spiciness of the rye as their flavor grain, we decided to use both to create the complex yet balanced, easy drinking whiskey that both is sweet wheat and a spicy rye bourbon lovers can reward themselves together.
It's got a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
It does. Very good.
I don't know if I could sip this. This is a little too strong.
This is to me something I would throw a cube of ice in, and I think you would really enjoy.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Kurt, I would do the same.
Just like Pappy Kurt. I don't know why you were so insecure. I don't know why you're so insecure about your ice.
No, we're going to go back to like episode 3 where you guys all gave me so much shit about drinking bourbon with an ice cube in it.
Well,
yeah.
I think we were actually just giving you shit.
No, it was because of the ice.
That's every episode.
Yeah.
I remember when we realized they all taste the same because we would talk so much, the ice cube would melt down and it would just water the.
Well,
this tastes just
that's
like
because you're drinking it too slow.
That's right. Well, look at his bourbon collection up here, and you tell he drinks slow.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta sleep sometime.
He's saving it for his grandchildren.
This is almost, and again, I like the flavor a lot. It does not linger, as we talked about.
No.
It's very strong and solid flavor. It's almost dry. We talk a lot about viscosity sometimes. This one is almost a dry drink.
Not the oily.
Not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't stick with you.
No.
I pick up what you're tasting.
I pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the age on it, but I'm not finding. And because this is a special edition, this 2020, it might not be on here. But
yeah. That's pretty cool though. You get a signed bottle.
Yeah.
From the distiller.
And where are they at?
They are in Dane, Wisconsin, which is about 20 miles north of Madison. So western Wisconsin, a little bit north.
Okay.
Yeah. And they talk about Wisconsin having one of the widest range and most volatile temperature swings. So they can get anywhere from the highs to the hundreds through the grueling days in the summer, and then lows down to minus 30 degrees in the winter. So like that's like 130 degree variance. Yeah. Wow. That's huge.
It's a reason not to live there.
Yeah.
Now you had mentioned when we talk about Alaska, like is there it's a good question because I don't think we've talked to anyone who's experienced this, but is there a point where when you hit a certain temperature, the wood just stops?
It just the whole thing just shuts down.
It's frozen.
It's frozen. Right?
You can't, like the wood itself, if it had any moisture, is going to freeze at 32.
Right.
So it's like anything below 32 is just hitting the pause button.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it has already extracted the liquid. Like, so talk about when we talk about the liquid being pulled through and pushed out of the, is it being pulled in the summer?
Yes.
When the wood is expanding,
right? It's
absorbing it and it's pushing it out.
Yep.
When it cools down and the wood contracts, shrinks,
molecules tighten,
push it back up.
So you are
at a certain point when you hit 32, it's like there's nothing left in there, or whatever's in there is not doing anything.
So they actually talk about that. They talk about that volatility of that range of temperature.
Yeah.
And it causes the barrels to expand when the temperature rises. Okay, that's pretty normal. Allowing the barrels to soak up our bourbon and then extract flavor. And then dropping in the winter, pushing that bourbon back into the barrel and taking all those flavors from the wood with it. Mm-hmm. And then the process allows our bourbon to extract maximum flavor from our barrels while maintaining complexity and balance.
Which is interesting, though. Like, what temperature does it have to get to push it back out?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, excuse me, to soak it back in, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, Alaska, if you've got, what are the highs in Alaska? 70?
We were there, and it was, 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to hit 90s in many places. Right. But if it's spending a good part of the year sub 32, then you're like, there's no activity.
Yeah.
But thinking back to Rotten Little Bastard, he's like, in a day we're getting movement. We're getting a 40 to 70 degree movement in a day.
That's crazy.
Right.
You're like, wow, that's pretty
cool. Maybe they're playing really loud music.
They might. Just shake it all out.
Go Sebastian. Go Sebastian. It's your birthday.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
So think about it from a cooperage perspective, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of the wood expanding and contracting. Can you even barrel in the winter?
Good question.
Because it seems like if the wood is tight enough with no liquid in it,
and then
no moisture,
then you load it up.
Will that just freaking explode?
I don't know, but it'd be fun to sit in there when the temperatures are dropping to hear if those barrels make any noise.
As long as it's not like dropping from -20 to -30.
Yeah.
I'm not signing up for that trip.
No.
But it's good. I mean, it's definitely got the finish on it is it's good.
Kurt, I like this one. The thing that I think is interesting with this one is like it's the heirloom piece, right?
Yeah,
the corn.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you look at the color, you can tell there's something going on. There's something special there.
Yeah.
And then again, I don't know what red corn tastes like, but there's definitely something in this flavor that.
Yeah, I mean,
you get butterscotch pudding on the nose.
I've never had butterscotch.
Really?
Parmesan.
No.
Oh, I love butterscotch pudding.
Yeah, you're missing out on
Come
something. Yeah, you need to get in the hospital.
No Jello. No,
Did Jello make that?
No Jello in your house growing up?
That's not real butterscotch pudding.
Yeah, this is interesting.
That's a good one. I'll reach out to my friend and see if there's a way we can get in touch with these guys because
Cool.
I actually have the card at home too, so I'll have to take a look at that. But it'd be fun to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be in Wisconsin in a couple weeks. Maybe I'll try to figure out a way to get up there.
There you go.
Make it happen.
Yeah,
we can patch them in.
That's a winner. I like it. And so what's the name of the distillery again?
J.Henry and Sons.
Okay.
Love it.
Love it.
Wisconsin straight bourbon whiskey.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good addition.
Yeah. Who would have thunk they could make that good a bourbon in Wisconsin?
Well, these are all northern bourbons. Right?
Hey, that's true.
There's a theme here.
Yeah,
that's true.
How about
It's called second tier.
There you go.
Second tier.
Got to let those B+
Exactly.
grades, live up.
Great on the curve.
I don't know. This one ranks up there pretty good, I think.
All right.
It's a very good.
All right. So I'm gonna give a shot. Anyone want to take a crack at last call?
Nope.
All right. Sticking with the travel theme.
Okay.
Ooh,
All right. You are going to another country. So you're going to go overseas. And you can pack one of these bottles to bring with you to basically get in tight with the barkeep, bringing something in. Something that represents what you think they should try for bourbon. So if you're in Ireland, we could pick Ireland, we could pick Scotland. Let's do Scotland.
All right.
So you're gonna go toe to toe with the Scotch, and you can bring one of these in, put it on the bar, and everyone gets a pour. Which one are you bringing in and why?
Me, I'm taking the J.Henry straight in. Again, like we talked about, theirs were very distinct in their flavorings, either the peatiness or the smokiness, and they were very proud of that, and they enjoy that. This would be our version of that. In this case, would be the red corn. This is a very distinct flavor, strong flavor profile, and even to the point because both of those economies, Ireland and Scotland, are very dependent on other countries, whether it's today or 100 years ago. So they recognize that it's kind of like blue collar, we're going to survive mentality. In this case, even the backdrop story of, hey, this was a farm, times got tough, they had to find a way to, prevail, and this is what they've done. So that for me, it would be the J.Henry straight in.
Good call. Good description. Crap.
Scotland, you said?
Yeah. You could choose Scotland or Ireland.
But not Ukraine. I'm just checking.
You want to give it a shot?
Just want to make sure. No,
I know where you want to go.
I'm gonna go with Alton on this one. Initially, I wanted to say Bluestone because I think there was a pretty complex flavor there, but I almost it just almost looks a little too bougie for Scotland, right? And back to that kind of the pull up by the bootstraps and survival and The J.Henry is very good. I do wish it had a little bit longer finish, but I think if you were to introduce that to someone overseas who was a big Scotch drinker, they would be impressed with the fact that it did have a very unique flavor. Very different, obviously, than their flavors, but pretty unique flavor. So
yeah,
that's where I would go.
Gertron?
Well, as much as you all know, I hate to agree with Dave.
Oh, this has
been a long time, Kurt. It's been a long time. I'm easing back in.
The second time.
No, in all seriousness. Listen, I would do the J.Henry as well for a couple different reasons. One, for just to go on everything that Elton Dave said, I do think there's something really interesting about the story. I think the heirloom red corn is really interesting. I also think the mash bill is really interesting. But I'm also from Wisconsin, so maybe a little bit of Wisconsin pride.
You got to do that.
You know, so to go to Scotland and say, from my home country, right?
Yeah.
Not my hometown, but like
they wouldn't check.
That's
fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I could say home country. They probably think it's the same thing, but yeah. I mean, listen. I think there's nothing bad about this bourbon, at all, and the fact that it's 4 generations, how it came to be. I love the color of it. And I do love the taste. I agree the finish doesn't hang on as long as actually the first one we tried.
That's
but it's good. It's really good. I have to say it's really good.
But you do.
All right. I'm gonna go counter, and I'm gonna say Bluestone, only because of the bouginess. I think that in the presentation of it, if it was, I would be worried that we weren't matching up competitively, because I think that we're competitive. We weren't matching up heat at 90 proof versus 120 versus, I don't know. I don't know enough about Scotch to know if that's...
It's not that hot.
You know,
I do
Scotch
not believe
is not that high.
Not that we experienced.
No. So I think that there's something in the mystique about Bluestone Manor that it would match to the manors and castles, and
you know,
kind of keeping in that, naming a building based on something gives it some history. Although it's really young comparatively.
Yeah.
You're talking about 22 years, 21 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd go Bluestone. I don't think the Boatwright is ready yet to go overseas.
Not yet.
I would like to try that in 2 more years. I'd like to try a 4-year.
Yeah.
And see how that combination of combining
I think it'd be great.
The 49th state with, Kentucky. That'd be pretty cool.
I think it'd be
that's
great.
my go. Yeah.
That's cool.
Good call. I like it.
That was my personal favorite, the Bluestone.
Yeah.
I think it had a great flavor.
Yeah.
Tasty. And I love the bottle.
Bottle's cool.
Listen, I think they were all good tonight. I didn't mind the Boatwright. I really did.
You were pretty clear about that.
Yeah. I'm going to say it again, so you guys are 100% clear. But
listen, the
compared to many we've had, it's actually preting good.
Yeah.
So and the Boatwright, again, set the whiskey, the bourbon itself aside. I like the cleverness. I'm assuming the reason they went and got a Kentucky blend to bring into it is the things we talked about. Weather may be such an obstacle that they can't age it and get the flavor out of it.
Yeah.
So again, I applaud the creativeness and the willingness to reach out and make it a diversified spirit or whatever. I'll be curious. I'd love to try this in like 2 more years to see if it does age well there. But I love the spirit behind it. The bourbon's not very good, but the spirit's all there.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like a name like Chilkoot?
Oh yeah.
You can say
I have a feeling we're all mispronouncing it.
I don't know. I mispronounced it the first few times on this podcast, but I think you guys have corrected it, and we'll go with it.
Yeah.
And if we hear from someone in Alaska, great.
Awesome. I don't think we have any listeners in Alaska.
No,
I don't know.
You got to check.
I'll be holding my breath.
Yeah.
We're showing up there.
Good to see you guys.
All right,
Yeah,
boys.
good to be back.
Good to be back.
Way too long. Way too long.
We cannot wait another 3 months.
No, it's
No, we
ridiculous.
can't. We got actually
3, almost 4
So
months.
just so you guys, I had somebody reach out to me up in New York. They're like, "What's the podcast?"
They're
I'm telling
unsubscribing?
everybody about it up here right now. And I'm like, "All right, that was yesterday."
They've caught up on all 60 episodes.
Yeah.
How many states do we have now?
A lot.
All but Nebraska, I think.
I haven't even
Or North
Seriously?
Dakota. I don't know. We'll check it out.
Okay.
So we got to
find worldwide.
We need to find a distillery in Nebraska and just so at least one person clicks on it.
I should have downloaded it while I was in Scotland.
Oh,
that would have been hilarious.
I think we already have
Scotland.
Seriously? Who's in Scotland?
Deb's cousin Tim was there.
Hey, we have Israel. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Pretty big deal.
Amazon just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, that's right. Neither does my wife.
Again, we are still for sale.
It's the same in every house. That's right. I said, Liz, like, you're going to do what?
Because he had 1,100 miles of driving and not one fucking podcast.
We didn't listen to one podcast. No, we didn't actually. We didn't.
All right.
Liz couldn't focus.
Where are you going next? Where's the next? You're off to Defusky.
Dude, I am ready to disappear. Yes.
You're going to see our buddy out there.
Yeah.
Defusky, awesome. That sounds foreign.
Yeah, it does.
Where are you going next?
I don't know.
Okay. Nothing.
Where are you going next?
We're going to head to Mass for a week.
Oh, that's right. When do you guys go?
And then we're going to do Disney.
Oh,
there
you go.
Yeah.
Go see Mickey.
Huh?
Yep.
Next up for us, we'll be heading back to St. Louis, but we're going to come back a different route. We're going to go through Arkansas. There's some national parks in Arkansas.
Oh,
some state parks.
Nice.
Do some hiking out there. So looking forward to that.
Beautiful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nobody going to Chilkoot?
It's not on the list. I know.
Took a wrong turn at Chilkoot.
Took a wrong turn.
But we're going to place our orders with you when you head to Defusky.
Defusky,
right. Yes, sir. Yes,
I'll ask about the T-shirts and demand a 10%.
Oh, you know what? You should bring him a T-shirt.
Oh, Bourbon.
Do we have T-shirts?
We do have T-shirts. How long? It doesn't take more than a week to get it.
Okay. There's enough stuff on my to-do list. I'll mail it to him.
Yeah.
Good
All right.
Good time, boys.
Thanks for the episode. We tasted Boatwright, Bluestone,
J.Henry
and Anniversary blend.
61 episodes. Have we?
Yeah.
Yep. We should probably have 375.
Yeah,
but
we got a lot going on.
Yeah.
I know, but we're running out of stuff to drink.
No.
What?
Come on.
I feel like we've tasted a lot of those.
We've tasted a lot of those. We've not covered a lot.
Our cabinets have been. My cabinet personally has been too full, but I've been finishing some off, so now at least I can shop again. So
nice.
I'll be back in the market, so I'll go find some stuff.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, I see your Weller up there. I do have the black Weller at home that we all went in on, so we need to.
Yeah, we do.
We need to find a night to crack that open.
Yeah.
And drink.
Lake House.
Yes, and I promise I will not.
Dave.
I will
not that again.
You rallied. You rallied. You came back.
Doing that again.
I did, but I will not pregame. I will not pregame this time. So.
Love it. All right. Thank you, boys.
All right.
Thanks.
Another episode. We got a wedding in a week.
I know.
So, Dave.
All right. Bourbon on, boys.
Bourbon.
Yes.